Welcome to today's math lesson. We're going to be going over how to write equations in the form of y is equal to mx plus b from verbal descriptions. Our due now is Nicholas is buying shirts for his baseball team. He will pay $9.50 for each shirt plus a one-time fee of $22.50 for the design. And we have to choose which equation can be used to find y, the total cost to buy x shirts. So first off, we have to look for a keyword to let us know what our slope is and to let us know what our y-intercept is. So the keyword is each. Each tells us that the $9.50 is our slope. So we're going to have $9.50 times x. And then it says plus, so we know that that's the addition symbol, a one-time fee. Anytime there's an initial fee, an initial value, a one-time fee, an initial charge, that is going to be our y-intercept. So we have plus the $22.50 is equal to y. And then we have to find $9.50 x plus $22.50 in our answer choice. So it looks like the closest one is going to be F. They dropped the zeros at the end, so they just have 9.5 plus 22.5. So F will be our correct answer for this do now. Today's TEK is 8.5i. Our lesson target is that scholars will write equations in the form y is equal to mx plus b to model a linear relationship. And in this case, because we're using the equation y is equal to mx plus b, it's going to be a non-proportional relationship between two quantities using verbal representation. So from word problems, basically. And our DOL is given 4 problems. Scholars will write equations in the form y is equal to mx plus b to model a linear relationship between two quantities using verbal representations with 100% accuracy. Some academic vocabulary words that we've already gone over is constant rate of change, which in this case is going to be represented by the letter M. Another word for that is slope. So constant rate of change and slope can be used interchangeably. Input is going to be our x value. Output is our y value. Linear equations, when graphed, make a straight line. Linear relationships include proportional and non-proportional. Nonlinear relationships are, when you graph them, it's not going to make a straight line. Slope-intercept form is the specific form that we're using to write our equation today, which is y is equal to mx plus b. You can easily identify the slope as well as the y-intercept from that form, and that's where it gets its name from. And the y-intercept is the point at which the line crosses the y-axis, which is the vertical line. This first problem says, let's examine how to write an equation based on a situation that models a linear relationship. In 2006, the fare for a taxicab was an initial charge of $2.50 plus 30 cents per mile. Write an equation in slope-intercept form that can be used to calculate the total fare. So our output, or our y value, is going to be the total fare or the total price for the taxi cab ride. And then our x is going to be the number of miles, since there's a charge of 30 cents per mile. So our slope, our key word for slope is the word per. So we know that our slope is actually going to be 30 cents. Our y-intercept is going to be that $2.50, because our key words were initial charge, and then we're just going to input the values into the slope-intercept form equation. So instead of y is equal to mx plus b, we have y is equal to 0.3 x plus 2.5. Or you could switch it around and have y is equal to 2.5 plus 0.3 x, or you could have left the zeros at the end. So all of these equations are equivalent. Of course, if this were a multiple choice question, you would have to identify what would be the correct equation given one of these as the answer choices. This next I do says the cash register subtracts $2.50 from a $25 coffee cafe gift card for every medium coffee the customer buys. Write an equation in slope-intercept form to represent the situation. So first we have to define our variables by figuring out what is our input, what is our output, or what is our x value, what is our y value. In this case, our independent variable is the number of medium coffees bought, because our dependent variable is the amount remaining on the gift card, because the amount remaining on the gift card depends on how many coffees were purchased. From there, we can figure out what our slope is. So in this case, it's a little bit confusing because our keyword is every, but it's not next to one of the numbers, right? But we're figuring out how much is deducted for every medium coffee. And we know that subtracts $2.50. So that means that $2.50 is deducted. So we can write minus 2.50. And then our y-intercept is going to be our initial value. And that means that the number that we started with, in this case, there was originally $25 on the gift card. So our y-intercept is 25. There's multiple ways to write this equation. One way would be negative 2.50 or 2.5 plus 20x. We have to put the x plus 25 is equal to y. Since the negative $2.50 is our slope, we need to make sure our x follows it. Another way to write this equation is y is equal to 25 minus $2.50x. As you can see, I just switched around the slope and the y-intercept so that the y-intercept was first. We have a positive 25. And then instead of writing plus minus negative $2.50x, I just wrote minus $2.50x. But you could also have written y is equal to 25 plus negative $2.50x. In some cases, you can even drop the 0 that's behind the 5. In this problem, the slope is negative because we're deducting or subtracting $2.50 for every time a coffee is purchased. There's some we do problems, some you do problems, and then a multiple choice question before your DOL, which is 4 problems and it's in Google Forms. Thank you so much for following along in today's math lesson, and see you in the next math video. Bye.